Imagine a civilization so vast, so influential, that its echoes should be undeniable. A society that built, thrived, and then simply vanished. Not collapsed, not conquered, but erased from the historical record so thoroughly, it's as if they never existed. What if I told you we might be living on top of their secrets right now, completely oblivious to the colossal ghost city just beneath our feet? This isn't just a hypothetical. It's a chilling possibility that challenges everything we think we know about history, and how easy it is for an entire world to be forgotten. We tend to think of history as a linear progression, a story we've largely uncovered. Pyramids, Roman ruins, the Great Wall, these monuments scream their presence across millennia. But what about civilizations that didn't build in stone, or whose materials simply decayed? What if their cities weren't swallowed by sand, but by something far more common and relentless, nature itself? How could an advanced society leave so little trace, yet still be present? The biggest challenge to finding these lost civilizations isn't just time or decay, it's our own assumptions. We look for grand structures on the surface, but what if they built down? Imagine a world where the most significant architecture was subterranean, designed to be hidden, perhaps from invaders, or even from the sun's harsh gaze. This shift in perspective completely upends our search, turning our very ground into a potential archive of the unknown. The materials a civilization uses are crucial to its archaeological footprint. We easily detect stone and metal. But what if a culture mastered organic materials, perhaps even a form of bioengineering that allowed them to grow their buildings? Think of structures crafted from hyper-durable, yet biodegradable wood or plant matter. Over centuries, these wouldn't crumble into recognizable ruins, but slowly merge back into the ecosystem, leaving behind only faint chemical signatures or oddly perfect petrified shapes. Consider the rainforests of the Amazon. For centuries, explorers believed they were pristine wilderness. Then, LiDAR technology, which can see through dense foliage, began to reveal something astonishing. Vast, geometrically precise earthworks, canals, and even entire city grids, hidden beneath the jungle canopy. These weren't small settlements, they were complex, interconnected societies, far larger and more advanced than we ever imagined. But why did they disappear? The Amazonian garden cities, like those of the Kasarabe culture, built monumental platforms, pyramids, and defensive structures, all from earth and organic materials. They weren't just living in the jungle, they were actively shaping it, creating fertile terra preta soil that endures to this day. Yet their cities were reclaimed so utterly by the jungle that for generations we walked right over them, unaware. Their existence fundamentally rewrites the history of complexity in the Americas. But what if the disappearance wasn't just physical? What if it was intellectual? Imagine a civilization that recorded its history, its knowledge, its very identity on perishable media. Scrolls of treated bark, intricate tapestries, mnemonic devices embedded in song or dance. A catastrophic event, a plague, a conquest, or simply climate change could wipe out the knowledge keepers, and with them, the entire collective memory. The physical remnants might be subtle, but the intellectual void would be absolute. Then there's the ocean. Over the last 20,000 years, sea levels have risen by over 400 feet. Entire coastal regions, once fertile and densely populated, are now kilometers beneath the waves. Cities like Alexandria, once powerful hubs, lie submerged. But what about societies even older, from the last ice age, when coastlines were drastically different? They could be pristine, perfectly preserved, waiting in the cold, dark silence of the deep, holding secrets we can barely conceive. Think of Doggerland, the vast landmass that once connected Britain to mainland Europe. It was home to thriving Stone Age communities, rich hunting grounds, and rivers. But as the ice sheets melted, Doggerland was slowly swallowed by the rising North Sea. Its inhabitants dispersed, its settlements erased from the map, leaving behind only scattered fishing gear, occasionally snagged in trawler nets. An entire world vanished, not by war, but by the relentless crawl of the tides. But let's push this idea further. What if a civilization vanished not through natural disaster or decay, but by deliberate, self-imposed obliteration? Perhaps they realized their impact was unsustainable and chose to dismantle their own infrastructure, returning resources to the earth, leaving behind only the most resilient, almost invisible markers of their existence. A societal self-erasure, a conscious retreat from dominance. Is such a thing even possible? This idea of minimal impact, or deliberate disappearance, isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. We project our own motivations onto ancient peoples. What if their success was measured not by the size of their monuments, but by the subtlety of their footprint? Their enduring legacy might not be a towering temple, but a perfectly engineered ecosystem, a modified landscape that still feeds us today, without us ever knowing its origins. Now for the mid-video twist. What if we have, in fact, found countless traces of such a civilization, but we're misinterpreting them? We categorize artifacts based on what we already know. A strange rock formation, natural. An unusual soil composition, geological. But what if these natural anomalies are precisely the subtle, deliberate markers left behind by a vanished people? We are conditioned to look for the obvious, the monumental, the human-shaped. But what if their art was the landscape itself? Consider the Nazca lines. For centuries they were a mystery, attributed to local cultures, perhaps for spiritual purposes. But what if they are not just art, but a system? A navigational aid for unknown aerial craft, or a vast calendar? They are undeniably there, yet their ultimate purpose remains a subject of intense debate. What other natural features have we simply dismissed because they don't fit our established narratives? And what about the very building blocks of life? We are only just beginning to understand epigenetics, how environment can change gene expression. What if a civilization, far more advanced than us, left its signature not in stone, but in biology? A deliberate modification to certain plants or animals, a resilience factor, a specific nutrient profile, or even a subtle genetic watermark woven into the fabric of life around them. Something too fundamental to question. This might sound like science fiction, but the potential for ancient civilizations to manipulate their environment on a biological level is increasingly being recognized. The terra preta soils of the Amazon, for instance, are not natural. They were deliberately created and enriched by ancient inhabitants, leading to hyper-fertile land that persists for thousands of years. We benefit from their genius daily without understanding its true scope. Think about the fruit trees we eat today, the grains we cultivate. Many were dramatically altered from their wild ancestors by early humans. But what if some of these foundational modifications predate our established historical timelines, pushing back the origins of complex agriculture by thousands, even tens of thousands of years? What if these natural resources are actually living monuments to a forgotten ingenuity? The deeper we dig, both literally and metaphorically, the more questions arise. Geological anomalies, strange magnetic readings, even peculiar distributions of rare earth elements in certain regions could be the faint, almost imperceptible echoes of advanced technologies or large-scale terraforming projects from a bygone era. We explain them away with current models, but what if those models are incomplete? Perhaps these civilizations mastered energy. What if they developed a way to harness ambient energy from the planet itself, leaving behind no massive power stations or fossil fuel residue, but only subtle energetic signatures that we mistake for natural geological processes? An energy source so clean, so efficient, that its remnants are virtually undetectable to our current instruments. We often dismiss strange energy readings or localized electromagnetic phenomena as unexplained or natural variations. But in a world where an advanced, vanished civilization existed, these anomalies could be the residual hum of their forgotten technologies, waiting for us to develop the right ear to hear them, or the right eye to see their patterns. The biggest secret might not be that a civilization vanished, but how thoroughly. Their success in disappearing could be their most advanced technology, a stealth civilization that learned to live with the planet rather than conquer it, leaving behind only the faintest whispers in the wind, the subtle curves in the landscape, the inexplicable fertility of the soil beneath our feet. So, the question shifts from, did they exist, to what are we missing? Are we so blinded by our search for grand ruins and obvious markers that we're overlooking the more subtle, integrated forms of ancient habitation? The signs might not be shouting at us from the mountaintops, but whispering in the rustle of leaves or humming beneath the concrete of our cities. Perhaps the most enduring legacy of such a civilization isn't a lost city, but a transformed world. A world we now call natural. The very landscapes we inhabit, the resources we exploit, the pathways we traverse, they might all be subtly shaped by hands long gone, leaving us as inheritors of a world we believe to be untouched, yet is secretly a masterpiece of ancient engineering and design. This brings us to a profound, unsettling realization. We might already be living within their ghost city, traversing their ancient thoroughfares, drinking from their modified springs, and breathing air from forests they painstakingly cultivated. Their secrets aren't just hidden, they're woven into the very fabric of our everyday existence, making them both impossible to see and impossible to escape. The vanished civilization isn't out there somewhere. It's right here. Their legacy might be the resilience of a crop, the unique biodiversity of a region, or the inexplicable fertility of a particular soil. We might be living in their garden, walking their paths, drinking from their altered waters, completely unaware that the natural world around us is in fact an ancient artifact of staggering scale and subtlety. The ultimate secret of a vanished civilization might not be a grand ruin, but the profound irony that their greatest achievement was to disappear so completely, so harmoniously, that we mistook their enduring presence for nature itself. We are, quite literally, living on top of their secrets, breathing their legacy, and wondering why history sometimes feels so incomplete. And this leaves us with a chilling question. If an entire civilization could vanish so thoroughly, leaving behind only the most subtle whispers in the wind and the soil, how many other worlds, how many other stories have we already walked over, completely unaware, simply because we weren't looking for silence, but for a scream?